What's up, guys, and welcome to the Scenes Hub. Today we'll be looking at the Last of Us TV series, focusing on the major scenes in this amazing TV show. I'll be sharing with you a full review and give you a clear explanation of some of the interesting moments in episode 1 of The Last of Us. For those who don't know, The Last of Us was a gameplay that was produced by Naughty Dogs, both on PS4 and then PS5 consoles. I don't know about Xbox. I really don't know about that, but anyways, that's what we are going to talk about here. So as you already know, season 1 of The Last of Us is in and episode 1 just dropped. So stay with me as we look into this together. I want you to be part of this. If you are new here, please give us a thumbs up and let us know you are part of us just by clicking the like button below. I'm not here to convince you to love The Last of Us, but believe me, by the end of this video, you'll be part of the Naughty Dog family and become a fanatic of The Last of Us TV series. Okay, let's go. The Last of Us TV series season 1 episode 1 just dropped, and we are introduced to a forum discussion in 1968 on what humans should expect all over the world. This is a clear discussion about viruses, bacteria, and all the scientific stuff that could disturb the human race and existence. It starts with all the humor, during the discussion. This humor conversation was during the discussion at the studio. But in the latter part, everybody within that studio is taken aback by the new revealings of Dr. Newman. And this is because it will not just be any virus breakouts, not like the COVID we saw, like the COVID people are experiencing. I know there are so many variants, but we are not here to discuss COVID. But a fungal infection where the fungus takes over the human body, hosts it, feeds on it, takes control over the human body, controlling the mind of that human being. Now, these things from the doctor even gave me goosebumps when I started watching. But hey, life has to go on, and we have a new virus to deal with, not fungus. He further goes on in the show to give a clear explanation using an ant, and at that point we knew humans would be in trouble. I think we have to give a big credit to HBO for a great opening with such a thrilling feeling, and even with that kind of music at the opening of episode 1. So the show moves on, and we get to see Sarah preparing breakfast for her dad and himself. Sarah is the daughter of Joel. As a great, there's this great bonding between a single father and a beautiful daughter. Tommy walks in, and Tommy happens to be the brother of Joel, seeking his piece of breakfast. Joel knows that they'll have to work late, which concerns Sarah because it's Joel's birthday. But he promises Sarah that he's going to be back home by 9 p.m. with a cake. Moments later, we observe Sarah reaching into one of the drawers to grab a small amount of money and some watch. I think she was preparing something for her dad, a little present. So looking at the scenes of Joel and Sarah, it is clear it's just them. A small family living in Austin, doing the simple things in life. There's no picture of Joel's wife or baby mama in that scene at all. Nobody saw that. I didn't see that. If you saw that, you can put that in the comment section. Looking through the walls of their residence, we don't see any picture of a woman who we may think to be the mother of Sarah. There is no existence of that sort. For those looking to find out, it is assumed that the mother of Sarah died during the birth of her daughter. We cannot put up any spoiler alerts right now, we're just doing pure assumption. I don't want to give any spoiler alert, not at all. So the show goes on where we see after school, Sarah gets to the jewelry store to get the father's watch repaired while she waits. A woman comes out of fear and announces that the business is closing and tells Sarah she really needs to leave the place ASAP. She walks over to her neighbor's house and asks if anything has changed in the news because there are so many cops, planes, driving and running around. And, she's wondering, Sarah's wondering what's happening. And she's just asking her neighbors what's really going on. So later that night, Joel arrives home and forgets about the cake, which upsets Sarah. I don't think she was upset in any way, but the two enjoy a lovely little bonding moment over the gift she brought for him. So she brought, the repaired watch and picked up a movie that she found in Mrs. Adler's house. If HBO did something really good with this TV show, I think it has to do with the setting and the gameplay. I've seen a couple of minor changes in the TV series as compared to the game plan, but hey, no spoiler in any way. But in the gameplay, the beginning was quite different from that of the TV series. Well, let's just drop that and let's just move on. We just want our fans to enjoy the show and fall in love with it. But to alert you, Joel and Tommy were in the year 2003, not 1968 as it was shown on the screen. The 1968 studio discussion was all about what could have happened or what was about to happen to the human race and life. But the setting we face when Joel and Sarah comes in all was, a bit different as well. Talking of Joel's phone, you could tell that this is like old time stuff, that small, very strong, robust, small phone. And everyone in the present year wants things done fast. So, who wants to cook pancakes? Unless everybody wants to get some sort of bowl of milk or cereals. You know what I'm talking about. You wake up in the morning, you're now yet to do pancakes, already made pancakes or whatever. You want something quick, fast food. It tells you that Joel and Sarah were in the year 2003. Things were quite different in 2003 as compared to 2020 or 2023 now. As we continue to give you a full review of The Last of Us TV series, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we humbly invite you to be part of us. Be a Naughty Dog fanatic. Click on that subscription button now. Anyways, let's just move on. So there are 3 key things that I will mention at the end of this video, that are very significant in the TV series, and I'll be very happy to share them with you. So I just want to continue highlighting what goes on in episode 1 until we exhaust the time we have. So stay with me till the end so that you can know all these 3 clues in this TV series. So the show continues where Tommy phones ring, and we happen to get a call from Joel. So Tommy phones Joel from jail and wants him to come to bail him out while they were watching a movie together. He reluctantly agrees after putting Sarah to bed. And that night Sarah was resting. There was a lot of noises and everything happening in the neighborhood. So it prompts her. She wakes up only to realize that her father is no more. After searching the home, she leaves and she goes outside to find wherever her dad had been. Eventually Joel comes back and we see that something is actually wrong in the neighborhood. And he didn't just arrive at their home, but he just knocked out the elderly woman. The woman who was sick in the earlier episode, as we saw at the beginning of the Last of Us TV series episode 1. So there was a national broadcast which was instructing people to remain indoors. And because of that, Sarah was wondering what was really happening. And so that was at that moment, that was the point where she had to go into Mrs. Adler's house to examine what was really happening, and only to find Connie eating on the floor. That was a bit disgusting. You could tell from the video. We're not going to put that graphical images on our screen, but when you watch that episode, you could tell that was, I don't want to say it, I don't know the word to describe it. So Sarah flees the home as she discovers there's this whole thing in the mouth of Connie. That was when Tommy arrives, and they both had to quickly leave the neighborhood. They needed to find a safe place to be. So the 2 rush out and drive away, past Jimmy's house. And at this point it was Tommy driving. In the game it was Tommy driving, it wasn't Joel. I quite remember very clearly. Guys, I'm sorry, I don't want to drop anything that will make you feel like you need to know what's happening now. So anyways, let's just continue from there. So the first plan was to escape, but it fails. They realized that there was a jet plane that was coming their way, so they had to try and run away from that. But along the way, when they were trying to escape, they meet a family, and Joel specifically tells Tommy, don't stop, we are not picking anyone. Even Sarah was like, we could put them at the back. But this tells you how selfish Joel could be or can be. And we saw it even in the earlier episode when they had a job, but Joel specifically tells Tommy he doesn't want to share this job with anybody. He wants to work it alone with Tommy. That was a bit of selfish, but anyways, what can we expect from a man who's trying to save his family? So then there's this scene where Joel and Sarah are confronted by the army, which results in Sarah being shot. And Tommy saves Joel at the moment, but Sarah, wow, that was a bit dramatic. and traumatic. God bless her soul. So Sarah is really struggling to for her life. To be honest, it was a wonderful directed scenario that I felt like the shot was a good shot, like as compared to the video game, and as I keep telling, we'll be searching for moments like that through the series, just to bring us back to the game. And we know this was a great one that was established for this particular scene in this particular episode. The tone was really set right. So fast forward 20 years in, they've arrived in Boston. We are looking at 2023, and we see a child who moves from one point trying to walk into the town, and the police saw the policemen around. They see the child, they quickly rush the child, and sadly he's contaminated and has been injected with something which kills him instantly, and it's because he turned out positive. A lot has changed in Boston. So from 1968 to 2003 was about 35 years, where Dr. Newman shared what could be of human life should there be an outbreak. It certainly happens, and everyone has gone haywire. So 20 years down the line, Joel has lost his daughter. We see the whole place in a ramshackle. Like a lot of things are completely changed in Boston, in the whole state, all the other states that we saw in the TV series. So from 2003, adding another 20 years is certainly our year of 2023. Technology had advanced, humans are dying, and the world is in deep, is in dire need of help. Jobs are gone, human countries, the family wars and chaos all over the place. Speaking of wars, there's a banter going on between the Fedra and the Fireflies. These are two groups, entities that I think we'll talk about them in the other episode. But for now, we'll be only talking about the review of episode 1. So stay with us and make sure that you subscribe so that when I upload that video about the Fedra and the Fireflies, you can get a notification. So jobs going, for example, like banking jobs are down, and we could tell that they are just menial jobs around. So for example, jobs going for like a normal day has become like an hour or two thing because there's nothing to be done. We even saw Joel picking up dead bodies, and that's the kind of job he has found himself in to earn something for himself. And this time it wasn't even like money, they were spending something else. I don't know what we will all do, but anyways, let's just move on. At this point, we know what is really happening. I know, but let's just say we don't know what is really happening. And I'm talking in terms of what the virus is about. It's really not a virus. People believe it's a fungi. People believe, but let's just say we don't know completely. We have nothing, or we have no information. And giving any information on this will be a spoiler alert. But let me give you this one here. So with the dead bodies being burnt, it was a way to ensure the infected does not get in contact with the living. Any fluid that is transferred from the infected to the uninfected can get the fungi to be transferred from that uninfected to the infected of the living. Don't get it confused. It's very simple. So that is how we happen to explain it and why they were actually burning the dead bodies in the first place. So the episode goes on where we get to meet Tessa and Joel planning to get a car and leave the town. They have business elsewhere, and this is no other business than finding his brother, Tommy. We saw Tommy earlier in the episode, but at some point we never saw him again. That was where they broke apart after he had shot the army guy. So they have news that some group of people are doing very well somewhere else, living a better life. Not a complete better life, but they have what they need. You get the point. And this group even includes a Firefly group as well. They are well equipped, and there's even a reason why there's so much chaos between the autocratic government and then the Firefly. At this point, we can even say there's no government. Everything is just not in order. So Joel runs across a soldier who Joel owes, some sort of ration cars. That is what they are spending at this moment, not money, that sort of thing. In exchange, he passes over tablets allegedly originating in Atlanta. He also mentioned the troops' nervousness, which has recently been, giving them sleepless nights because of the Fireflies coming, like the whole rebel organization coming into their territories to take away whatever. The show just got started, so we just have to move on with that. So we also encounter Tess, a lady who finds herself rushing out of a burning building. Clearly, the Fireflies are to be blamed. They are the one causing all these things, and everybody wants to fight back. So this is what happens: bombing, fires, and everywhere. It's crazy, but this show is really amazing. Unfortunately, the police make a mistake thinking just Tess is part of the Firefly and arrested. In the aftermath of all this, Joel is still determined to find Tommy. As we discover, Joel and Tess, try to put things in order to get a car battery and get a car and then leave the town. So Joel is drinking excessively and using drugs when he's reunited with Tess. She's been locked up in Federal all day. Tess informs them that they must get the vehicle battery that Robert, who was supposed to sell it to them, has sold it to someone else. That guy is a conniving. No wonder he's dead anyways. So they obtain the information by Robert, get the track, and then go and find Tommy. And that was when they realized that it's not just them who wants to leave, but a lot of people want to leave. But eventually, Robert dies, and we know who killed Robert. We don't want to go that deep in that. So we get introduced by a new character presented here, and Marlene and other Fireflies in Boston are holding her in prison. But they aim to flee with her, believing she's young. Marlene now walks upstairs and returns with Ellie's purse, freeing her from her shackles and reveals her actual name, which we know that is going to come up later in the episode. We are going to see more of them in the other episodes ahead of us. So Tess and Joel meet across Marlene and Ellie while they were looking for Robert. We already knew that Robert was going to die, and it was because of how he was manipulating things. He screwed up a group of people, and that was quite dangerous. So Marlene has been shot as a result of a fight with Robert over the vehicle battery, a defective and a completely useless automobile battery, as I can say. So both Tess and Joel, according to Marlene, are more than capable of transporting Ellie outside the town, which is the old state house where other Fireflies can be found. And that is the aim of Marlene and her group. But at that point, it's more like Marlene is the one who was concerned, as well as Ellie. So Marlene says they will have a vehicle battery, firearms, and anything else that Joel and Tess might need once they get there. So Joel agrees, and they leave in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, a soldier notices them, the same soldier with whom Joel attempted to strike a bargain earlier in the episode. Ellie prevents him from checking each of them for illness. When the man puts a pistol at Joel, he flashes back to those horrific times with Sarah's murder. It was just the same thing. It was like a quick flashback, but he had to do something. So he quickly attacks the man, smashes his head, and that was it. And it's confirmed. Ellie, on the other hand, has been contaminated. Her wound, however, is healing, and it's been 3 weeks old. She hasn't turned into anything. And this is the moment we realize that she's immune. Anyways, Tess and Joel are taken aback. Like, they are completely shocked. What are they even transporting? They don't even know what they are transporting. They all believe that this little girl they are transporting is some sort of a top dog's daughter, but it's because Ellie is immune, and they believe they can get something good out of her. We don't know yet. No spoiler alert, guys. So let's just move on. But so far, so good. I think the first episode, gets a really good start. Adapting with the original material, adding a bit of flesh as compared to the games, even though there were less evidence in the games as compared to the series. I mean, the only complaint here is the revelation with Ellie. I don't want us to talk so much about Ellie because she is going to be a major character, and a lot of things are going to surround Ellie's life. So let's just move on with whatever that has to happen. So I think I'll give it 9 out of 10 for episode 1. I mean, beyond that, there's a very beautiful ebb and flow to this chapter, and you can understand why they shifted. They had to reduce 10 episodes to 9 episodes, because when you look at the episode 1, it was about 1 hour 20 minutes. The first half served as a prologue with Sarah, while the second part introduces Joel, Marlene, Ellie, and Tess, and a few other casts. But there were 3 things that I'm sure you might have missed in this TV series. which was Joel was a veteran, if you didn't know about that, and the old woman who is Connie, who happens to be eating her family, got the virus from the city because she went to the hospital and got the virus from the city. And the introduction of the TV series and the game is almost the same. It's just that we get a feel of Joel bonding with Sarah. In the game, we didn't get that at all. And you can tell that the death of Sarah made Joel very bitter and a completely different person. So these are the 3 things I wanted to share with you. But in the next episode, we'll be talking about 5 things you might have missed in the Last of Us TV series. So please make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like this video, and we'll see you next.